your seat belt is upright. Finally, ensure your seat belt is securely fastened.
So I'm just taking a little break just down the beach. Had about a 5-6 mile road walk this morning from Invercargill, and I've only got like a 20-mile day. It's 10:30, so there's really no need to rush. If not, I'll be there by like early afternoon. And it's just incredible down here. Like, people are allowed to drive along this beach. They're so different. I've never seen that anywhere. So you've got people like surfing. There's people, I think there's one person paddleboarding over there. You've got people walking their dogs, and then there's just people just driving up and down the beach. Here it is. So I've got 15 miles of walking along this today, and I think I can actually see where I finish up. I think I finish up somewhere over there. It's just this massive long beach that just winds all the way around, and I'm pretty sure that I started somewhere the other side of this lot in Bluff. I went up into Invercargill and then I'm down. This is quite interesting because you can sort of see like where you've come from and where you're going to go as well. So I'm just heading out onto day 3. Yesterday was a fantastic day walking alongside the beach. Made a few friends. We ended up with a group of about 5-6 of us, and then camping last night. A few more people joined. Really fantastic start to the trail. Wasn't expecting this many people out here. We ended up being quite a long day because we took quite a lot of breaks, and today I'm only just leaving camp at 9 o'clock in the morning, so really late, chilled out start. Gonna go for about 18 miles, see how I feel when I get there, and then may make a push, making the day up to 25, starting today out straight up a hill. So I just stopped and had a little chat with a Kiwi bloke. Just had a really tough couple of miles, just up and down these cliffs. Really quite hard going. Now it's this shingle beach just next to me, but luckily there's this little gravel road that runs about 1 kilometre alongside it. And yeah, I just saw this Kiwi bloke. He's just sat by his surfboard, middle of nowhere. I mean, there's like nothing around where we are. Asked what the time was. He's clearly like hasn't got his phone with him, just waiting for one of his mates to come pick him up. I think it's just such a cool lifestyle out here. It's just so different to anything back home. And yeah, so I've now got about 3 mile walk into town where I'll be able to stop and get a little bit of lunch. This road only runs for about 1 k alongside the beach, and I'll have to walk back on the horrible shingle. In case you wondered how hot it gets in New Zealand, that's how hot it gets in the roads. Been a pretty tough morning. I left Martin's hut this morning, just gone 8 o'clock, and it's just literally just straight up. I only had about half a litre of water with me from last night. There's been absolutely no water. Big climb this morning for 2 miles through lots and lots of mud. Really great views up at the top though. Really muddy again. Just done quite a steep downhill, and I'm about 0.7 miles away from the first water source. I just hope it's quite good because my water filter is broken, so hopefully it's not too bad. I think I'm walking up a gravel road now for like a few miles, so just taking a little rest here at the bottom, finally changing into some socks that aren't caked in mud, and yeah, then I'm going to make the final push to get some more water, again take a break. I'm only doing about 17-18 miles today to finish up at another hut, so really absolutely no rush today. Don't even know how much further left I've got to go, but it's probably like 11 miles. So I think I'm probably gonna just post up here for about half an hour or so. Just enjoy it. It's about 7 or 8 miles downhill now for the rest of the day. Absolutely no need to rush. It's about 2 o'clock. It's all downhill. I ran out of water again today. And yeah, luckily I found some by the side of the road. And as you probably just saw earlier on in this video, it wasn't the most enjoyable, but tell you what, it tasted really nice. It just didn't look very nice, like where it come from, just from by the side of the road, but it actually tasted absolutely fine. My water filter was broken, so just having to chance things and hope it goes all right. But just loving this so far, so great. Well, today's been less than interesting. Left off from Mirrorview Hut this morning and it was raining, so had to put rain gear on. Then found out from some southbounders last night that the first wooded section is closed off, so there's quite a detour around it via the roads. I was lucky I was able to hitch quite a bit of the first road, but then I had a 4-mile road walk just on gravel roads. No joy hitching on that one because there was no cars. And then into a woodland and absolutely killer uphill. It's like 900 foot elevation gain over a mile, just like kind of right out of nowhere. But then it's been a nice day just on 4x4 tracks, and now it's about 3 miles down to where I'll be staying at Birchwood Station, where there should be a shower and the chance of getting a ride into town to go get hot dinner. So very, very excited, especially because I've only got 1 day's worth of food left, and the next sort of town is about a day and a half to 2 days away. So hopefully I can get this ride into town here, and then I'll have enough to get through to the next town, or maybe even the one past that. So here I am, completely lost on some random farmer's field in New Zealand. But I'm completely lost with a beautiful view. There's no trail markers, but I think I have to go somewhere over here. Or up there. Like a big pack of backcountry. Yeah. That's what they cover. So just come all the way from the bottom of this valley. Come up, 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 up. All the way up to here. Top of this massive hill. So yesterday ended up being a really sociable day. I left Birchwood Station in the morning. Got completely lost and I ended up hiking for a long time with an Australian called Bree and a German chap called Flo, and yeah, had some absolutely amazing views. Then about 4 o'clock arrived at a place called Telford campsite. Loads and loads and loads of sandflies, so didn't want to stay there. Then a Kiwi chap called Michael, who I've been sort of passing back and forward over the last few days and spent a couple of nights camping with. He was up for doing the big climb in the afternoon, so it took us about, well, I don't know, about 3 hours to do this massive climb, and we just camped in this woods just after the top. So had a pretty cool evening. Now pushing on to try and hopefully do about a 20-mile day. Hopefully the terrain evens out a little bit today and it should be a little bit easier, he says as he goes under a fallen tree. Well, what a great few days this has been since Birchwood Station. It's been a pretty tough few days. Tried to push a little bit further. It's, some of the terrain is really hard. Last couple of days been going through a lot of tussock, sort of like shoulder high, like big grass, and you know, like you couldn't really see like the next markers. But if you lost like the sort of trail, you could end up going down some really big boggy bits, and you just can't see out anywhere. So it's been quite tough going last few days. Going into Te Araroa today. Today will only be about 6 miles or so. Then today's day 8 on trail, so I'm decided to go into town, have a good rest, have a good shower, go get a little resupply, and then got the push to Queenstown, which I'm going to try and do in 2 days. Should be just under 60 miles, but it looks flat, so it should be doable, hopefully. It's got a 37k gravel road walk. Just left Te Araroa, had a like half day there yesterday, stayed overnight, and then left midday today. It's just gone 12 o'clock, starting a 37k gravel road walk. The notes for this section, when it does actually go to trail, say that it's completely overgrown and it's like a bog, so I've got absolutely no intention of doing it. Every hiker I've met that have done this section, they've said just skip it, do the road walk. So we're going to see if I'm lucky enough to hitch a ride up to Mavora Lakes. I am definitely going to jump in and not feel bad about it whatsoever, because unfortunately I've got to make up some time after having that town stop yesterday. So we'll see what happens, but it's Sunday. I don't think it's going to be very busy. It's a hot afternoon on this gravel road. Just over halfway, so I decided to take a well-earned break with some chocolate. Okay, so I'm back on trail. I was doing the road walk and I was about 6 miles or so from where the road would then rejoin onto the trail, and I just had like a little afternoon break and it was just beating me down, like gravel road walking. So just after my break there was a car coming past, and I managed to hitch a ride up to the Mavora Lakes campsite. It's quite funny, there was a lady there and a whole family of down. There's probably about 10 to 13 of them. They got the motorbikes there, they got the boat, they've got the dogs, they got the quad bike, and they're just all out in the great outdoors for a week. And really kind of to give me a lift. It's only 5:45, so as tempted as I was to stay at the lovely campground, I've decided to push on. Don't know how far I'm going to get. I'm going to aim for the next hut, which is about 6 miles away. Kind of in two minds about the hitch. It meant I missed about 3 miles of the actual trail, but don't feel bad about skipping the actual road section, because that was pretty brutal and pretty dull. But this bit now with the lake and walking by it is, it's given me a second wind for the day. about 10 to 11 and I've just done slightly over 11 miles, just taking a little rest at Tapo Hut. The scenery through this bit is just the best it's been so far, and the trail's been quite nice, so been able to sort of fly through the miles a little bit. I stayed last night at Carrie's hut and went for my first ever swim on trail just before the sun went down behind the mountains. It was just, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And so today, this next section of trail is supposed to have a lot of fallen trees, so expecting about 3 to 4 hours to the next hut, which is about just over 8 miles away, somewhere around about that. And got 13 miles until the end of this section of trail, where I can then hitch into Queenstown, which is where the trail resumes. So hopefully the fallen trees aren't too bad, and gonna stop for some late afternoon lunch at the next hut. So the walk from the last hut to Greenstone Hut was actually really easy. I got lost from the main trail and found this old non-maintained trail that ran parallel with the TA the whole way, or pretty much the whole way, to Greenstone Hut. And so all of the southbound has been saying that like the main trail was, you know, like really overgrown and there was loads of trees that were fallen down on it and it was hard going. I had none of that. It was fantastic. I just walked along this ridge, along these like sort of like old, sort of like bushy trails, and yeah, flew by, absolutely no problems. So I treated myself to a bit of lunch and a coffee at Greenstone Hut, where to my surprise they had like actual toilets and running water to wash your hands in afterwards, which probably doesn't sound that exciting, but after 10 days on trail, yeah, it's, you know, these things start getting exciting. So now I've got a 7.5 mile pretty much downhill all the way to the Greenstone car park, where I'm hoping that there will be some day hikers or something where I can hitch a ride into Queenstown. At least that's the plan. If not, I guess I'll just be camping in a car park and waiting for someone to turn up in the morning and hoping they'll give me a lift. And may I just add that this Greenstone track is the most well maintained, easiest bit of trail I've had on the entire hike so far. So at this point I'm about 190 miles in, and you know, when they say like the Te Araroa Trail, it's not really a trail. It's more of just like a corridor where you could sort of go anywhere. But this is more like it. I mean, just look at this. Actual trail. Nice and wide, nice and packed down, really well maintained.